Hello everyone and welcome back to FPL Gameweek for my Game Week 6 review. Hopefully you're enjoying the content here over on FPL Gameweek, and make sure if you are enjoying it that you are smashing the thumbs up button on this video. Make sure that you are subscribing as well to help get the content out to everybody as well. So here we are. This was my team this week. We got a little bit to unpack because I finally got some green arrows. You might be able to see behind me that we did get some green arrows amongst my different leagues. But here, overall, we managed to pull our rank back into 3.7 mil, which isn't the end of the world. Could have been a lot worse. But you can also see that we did take a negative 8 points as well. So we finished in the 40s, 48, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. We'll move on from there. 47 as well overall. But end of the day, we brought Erling Haaland back into the team, which was massive, but frustrating. Robert Sanchez, very, very disappointing. 5-2 winners. They conceded within the first minute of the game. And Brighton's defence at the moment hasn't been the best. You can see the clean sheets have really dried up in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, they conceded to Fulham, and then they've conceded 2 here to Leicester City, which is disappointing because I think we brought him in game week 4. So we got that 8-point haul against Leeds, and then since then we've got 2 back-to-back ones. But Bournemouth and Crystal Palace are 2 very important fixtures and 2 very attackable fixtures for Robert Sanchez there. Hopefully you get some clean sheets, and then Liverpool and Tottenham are going to be a bit more interesting, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Trent, 2 minutes away from a clean sheet, and if we'd managed to get that clean sheet, it would have been absolutely fantastic. Again, a lot of people are talking about Trent at the moment and what are we going to do with him. We get Wolves at home, then Chelsea, Brighton, then Arsenal, Man City. The fixtures don't look fantastic. Trent, through 6 games, has only returned once. Who would have thought that? He's still very highly owned. He's still at 47% ownership. I don't know how he hasn't gone down in price just yet, but I'm really starting to consider what we do with Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's a lot of defenders that have returned a lot more value than Trent has so far. Obviously, a goal and assist against Bournemouth is fantastic, but he's not looking the same player at the moment, which is very disappointing. We'll move on to Emerson Royale. Got his 90 minutes in once again against who they play? I can't remember now. Fulham, they won 2-1, and the last 2 weeks in particular have been very frustrating for Emerson Royale because Tottenham had gone ahead against West Ham and conceded to Souček, which threw the clean sheet away. And then once again this week, Mitrovic scores a nice goal for Fulham, but that also gets rid of a clean sheet once again. So we could have been 8 points better off in the last 2 weeks. We did get a good return against Nottingham Forest where he almost got an assist. His positioning, Emerson's positioning, is very good. For the 2 goals that Spurs scored at the weekend, he was right amongst it. He was right there. He was right at the back post, ready for the ball to fall to him. Just didn't go his way at the weekend. And then we've got our boy Cancelo. After a 12-point haul, he's only returned twice. He's returned 3 times technically with a clean sheet against West Ham. Just for 7 million, you'd really want to get more out of João Cancelo. So my defense has been really disappointing the last few weeks. Saliba getting 3 goals conceded and a yellow card as well. Didn't return the best. So I'm at a point where we're going to make some big decisions on the defense. Midfield-wise, last minute I brought in Bernardo. Well, I didn't talk to you guys about this one, but the 3 games prior had played 90 minutes across all those 3 games. Very heavily involved, looking very, very good. Again, I didn't expect him to return. 72 minutes is still solid. There's Champions League this week, but then there's a big game against Spurs. The thing that I like about Bernardo Silva is he started in the middle and he's also started out on the wing. So at the weekend, he started on the right wing, which was awesome to see. The fact that he's going between different positions, he's gone up to 7 million as well. I brought him in and he was at 6.9, so he's gone up to 0.1. I think through this run of games, Tottenham, Wolves, Man United, Southampton, there's definitely going to be returns there for Bernardo Silva, which is going to be really important for us moving forward. Then we've got Mo Salah. Had the armband on him for a while this week against Everton and decided to go against that knowledge and go and put it on Erling Haaland. And thank God I put it on Erling Haaland, because once again, Salah just doesn't look like he's getting in those positions. As that, if you are on Twitter and you've seen the photos, then you would have seen his heat map against Everton was just purely on the right wing. Trent is also being impacted by that because he is now no longer going around the outside, which is why I want to talk about those guys moving forward. And there was a world and an option where I was going to look at getting rid of both Salah and Trent next week for the Chelsea game, but I've had to make another move, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Salah's really disappointing at the moment and definitely one to look out for on the chopping block. Martinelli, 2 points. Big opportunity there against Man United. I don't think it's really a foul on Christian Eriksen from Martin Odegaard, which then rubs out his goal that he did score against Man United. And if he'd returned again, you would have literally been looking at one blank this whole season, which was against Fulham, which would have been absolutely fantastic. But again, Everton, Brentford, then you could start potentially looking at getting off of Martinelli with Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, but then you'd almost want him for Southampton, Nottingham Forest. Got to make a decision on Martinelli, but I think he's someone who we might just ride out until the World Cup. Pascal Gross, once again, 2 weeks in a row, we've had him in the team. And, 3 weeks we've had him. We got him for the 11-pointer. We got him in for the 2 against Fulham, but then we also got him in for the 5-pointer this week here against Leicester, which he looked very, very good. I thought he was very unlucky to only return with a 5-pointer, but he's gone up to 6 million, which is just mental. But the big dog, Ivan Toney, everyone took him out this week. His price went down to 7.1. He's now gone back up to 7.2. Just done the yo-yo. Started the season really well, playing consistent minutes, has 5 goals, 2 assists. But even against Crystal Palace and Everton, he was in those games. He was very much involved in those games. There was big chances, and I was always confident of a return. Was I confident of a hat-trick? No, but I was very confident that he would look to get a return in. So I'm very excited to see what we can get from Ivan Toney moving forward, because you get Southampton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton, Chelsea, Villa, Wolves, Forest, and then he gets Man City just before the break, which we might bench him for that game, but you never know. I have said that I'm just going to ride him all the way to the World Cup, and that is definitely going to happen at this rate. Gabby Jesus, very disappointing. Everton and Brentford, 2 very good fixtures, but bar that, could be on the chopping block. Had that big return, 2 goals, 2 assists, but since then has had 1 assist and then a goal last week against Aston Villa. Not looking as good as the 78% ownership. He's at 8.1 million. Definitely thinking of a world where that could turn into Mitrovic or Alexander Isak if Salah is to go at some point, and then Erling Haaland back in the team does his job. Very happy. Danny Ward made 7 saves last night and conceded 5 goals. So that just tells you how dominant Brighton were in that game. Still managed to get a 2-pointer. And then Andreas Emerson Saliba's pretty bog standard. So that's how we went this week. I've made 1 transfer already for this week, and it's Kieran Trippier. We did have him in initially in our team. We've missed out on that 0.2 rise. So far, has only had 2 games where he hasn't returned, and the fixtures look very good for him in the short term at the moment. West Ham, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, Man United, Everton, Tottenham, Villa, Southampton. Pretty well up to the World Cup. Kieran Trippier looks very solid. Very low risk of rotation because he's the captain of I believe he's the captain of the team, but he's worn the armband a few times. He's taking all the set pieces. He's loves a bonus point. There he goes. He's had 4 bonus points through 6 games as well. Very involved, taking the set pieces. Is the reason why we brought him in initially. We took him out when we used our wild card because I was a bit concerned of the Liverpool City double up fixtures there, 3 and 5, and obviously he got the return against Man City, so it would have been better off just keeping him over Emerson Royale. But that was a punt I was prepared to take with these sort of other few fixtures here. But now with West Ham, the way they're looking isn't fantastic. But it means that we've rolled, well, we haven't rolled, we've burnt that transfer now. We've made 8 so far. But it means that next week, game week 8, we've only got 1 transfer to make. But the City guys are locked in. What I'm concerned is the Salah-Trent combination next week, which could honestly be a -4. later in the week, we might start, or maybe even the start of next week, we might start thinking about what we're going to do if we make 2 transfers. Obviously, it's going to be Salah down to another midfielder and then Trent down. So it's going to be a double downgrade potentially next week for us. But that is the team this week. It's going to look like Sanchez, Trent, Cancelo, Trippier, Bernardo, Salah, Martinelli, Gross, Tony, Jesus, Haaland. The only world where anything changes is if any of the City or Liverpool guys or Arsenal guys get injured during Europe, and that's why I didn't really want to make the transfer, but I had to get the transfer for Trippier done because of his potential price rise, which I believe came. I think I got him in at 5.1. We'll find out here. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did get him in at 5.2. I don't know. I can't remember now at this point, but I must have got him in at 5.2 because Gross is saying 5.8 and he's at 6. So I'm going to assume that I got him in at 5.2. So I missed the 0.2 there, but we got 0.1 in the bank. If Salah goes, he's still sitting at 13 mil. You're going to make at least 3 mil or so from at least if you go down to Sterling. But we'll talk about some of those options next week, I think. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I am very excited to start building the brand here on FPL Gameweek. Make sure you get the post notifications on because Damo will be dropping his review video at some point before Wednesday, I reckon. So hopefully he gets that done. But for me, from Paulyyy, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the videos around to get the community growing. And I'll see you very, very shortly for another video here on FPL Gameweek.